Hey, we're live. We are live and we are going to be Cosmic Smash Booking. I'm so excited. So, if you are here live with me, I'd love for you to pop in the chat. Where are you coming from? Where are you in this big, beautiful world? Let me see you and witness you, please. So, I would like to do an acknowledgement. Oh, hey, Roberta. Hey, Genji from New York City. I see you. Oh, I see Liz from Keene, Ontario, Canada. Roberta's coming from LA. Hey, ladies. Oh, hey, from Texas. Lachelle, did I pronounce your name correctly? I am so thrilled you are here with me today. Hey, Jane from Nevada. I'm so glad. Awesome, Lachelle. Okay, cool. Oh, hey, my friend from Sweden. I'm so glad you're here with me today. Hey, Audrey, also in Ontario. I love that. Welcome. Welcome, beautiful humans. Come on in. Today's workshop is being held on the traditional land of the Upper Chehalis peoples, also known as the People of the Sands here in Centralia, Washington. And I would like to take a moment to pay respect to those elders, past and present, who care for this region. So please feel free to name and acknowledge your land in the chat if you are called to. And also, I would love if you shared your relationship with Cosmic Smash Booking in the chat. I always like to know who my OGs are, who are my OGs, and who are my new friends to Cosmic Smash Booking. It just supports me as I walk you through the process. So, oh, Justina, I see. Dear hearts, no glasses on. We would be in big trouble if I weren't wearing my glasses. Take a moment to grab those, my friend. And yeah, I would love to see who is comfortable with Cosmic Smash Booking. You've done this a time or two. And who is new? Oh, Jen G, I see you on, and I apologize if I'm not pronouncing this correctly, but I get to try. I am on the Canarsie and Rockaway tribes land here in Queens. Fantastic. Honoring you. Oh, beautiful, Jean. Longmont, Colorado sits on the traditional territory of the Cheyenne. Oh, and I feel like I might mispronounce this, so forgive me. The Arapaho, the Ute, and other indigenous peoples. Audrey, I am so excited that you're about to certify as a Cosmic Smash Booking Guide. Welcome to the club, sister. Liz, I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce that because I think that would I would just not be doing that correctly. So, and you know I'm a fan of being messy, but I do want to honor their names. And so I honor you for sharing in the chat the land that you're on. Thank you for that, my friend. Okay, so I see we got an OG and we got some OGs in the house. I love that. And if you are new to Cosmic Smash Booking, and you've never done this before, I invite you at another time to check out my Cosmic Smash Booking 101 video that's also on my channel, where I actually walk you through the process. So in the meantime, shall we carry on? Do you have your Cosmic Smash books? Do you have your coloring goodies? My inner child must be wanting to play today because there was a request that crayons be present at this session. So yeah, we're going to do that. Jane, I see that you made your first Cosmic Smash book after last month's live. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. Audrey is on the same lands as Liz. Fantastic. Oh, fantastic, Anne. Thank you for sharing the local Northern California tribes. Thank you so much for honoring the land with me. All right, so here is where I'm taking us today. This is where my heart is wanting to journey. So if you're on my mailing list, you may have read yesterday I sent out an email that talked about where I had this awakening around forgiveness. And this is actually the page that I created around that. I recognize that, I have these old stories, these false beliefs about myself that weigh so heavy that it's hard for me to listen to my own inner knowing because I'm trapped underneath these old stories, like a big weighted blanket. And so I'm curious, can you think of a story right now that may not be true, right? They're usually not. A story about yourself, like maybe you're too much or you're not enough, whatever the story is, that's really holding you back from shining in your brightest, authentic self. I'd love if you put in the chat box that, yeah, you feel like you've got a story that's holding you back, and put it in the chat. And if you don't want to put the actual story, no worries. If you feel like you want to be witnessed and share it, please do. But I'd love to know, is there a story that you're carrying with you right now, like a big old weighted blanket that is just not serving you? And I've had various stories, and I mean, present day, I have various stories. My biggest story is that I'm too much, I'm too bold, and that makes other people uncomfortable. That's my story. And so I'm curious to know, do you have a story like that? I mean, maybe it's not my story because we each have unique stories, but some of these stories are similar too. Liz, you said yes to stories being carried. One resurfaced today. Yes, 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 yes. I hear that, friend. Roberta, that I'm powerless to make change on my own. Oh, that's a big one. Yeah, witnessing you. Yes, due to narcissistic abuse, I get stuck a lot. And yes, too much, too bold. It's mine too. Yeah, it's a heavy story, because when we create a story that we're too much, too bold, we tend to hold ourselves back and not really show up as our true authentic selves. Genji, yes, I don't have anything interesting or unique to share or say. Audrey, as much as I accomplish, I always feel not good enough, not creative enough, not enough. Yes, that's a theme. And most of you who work with me or have been in my community a while, my story I've shared before is that I'm too much and not enough. And I'm like, that's such a no-win situation, to be both too much and not enough. Like, there's absolutely no spaciousness for me to have a victory in there. Let's see, as I shared on Saturday, no one will read my book. Yes, yes, no one will read my book. Yeah, which is a false story. We're all reading your book, sister. So next, now we've identified what that story is, right? First step. Second step is my inquiry for you is, well, how does it hold you back? How does that story hold you back? What do you think you miss out on by staying connected to that story? Pop that in the chat box. I'm going to take a sip of my coffee. Carolyn, you say, I feel like, why bother? Yeah. I just figured that out, Amy. Roberta, I don't move on with my life, my dreams, my desires, because I'm waiting for them to do it with me. Yeah. So there's definitely this hiding in the shadows theme that I see here when we are enrolled in these stories. Jen, you said connections with readers and other writers and being able to find new readers. Yeah, so you're missing out on those opportunities of connection. Jean, waiting around for others to do something. So that's interesting. I see more than one of you saying that, waiting for others. So there's this hesitation to take lead. So just, yeah, being curious about that. Audrey, putting myself out in the world. Justina, I'm wanting to be a recluse and get bored. Yeah. Amy, I get stuck and I don't accomplish anything. Liz, I miss out on actually doing the things because I circle back in self-doubt and analysis paralysis. trying to people please constantly and disconnecting from my own heart. I can relate to every single share in the chat box. There is not one share that has come up that I've been like, oh, I've never experienced that. And that is how big some of this is. You know, how big that it literally paralyzes us in place, keeps us in the shadows. So today, thank you for sharing with me. I just kind of like to verbally go through the theme so that we're all on the same page of how we're moving forward. So I had this through this Cosmic Smashbooking page where I was exploring this old story that I had and how it held me back. This theme that came through was forgiveness, which has showed up in other ways. And then I found this image of these two people hugging, or it almost looks like she's hugging herself, like a shadow part of herself. But when I saw this, what came up for me was how freeing forgiveness is. And then I'm actually receiving abundance in this forgiveness. And that really was just like, wow, that just cracked me open. So I'm inviting us into a page today that's going to crack us open into this next awakening. And I'm going to ask you one more question in the chat box, and then we're going to go to the page. When you think of the word awakening, like on a personal level for yourself, what comes up for you? How do you define awakening? Pop that in the chat box. And I see you say self-doubt, don't start projects or don't finish them so I won't have to go through the fear of sharing. Yes, totally get that one too, Anne. Me too. So Liz, you said awakening feels like expanded awareness. Yes, I love that. I love that energy. Yes, there is movement in awakening for sure. Growing, opening up. Yeah. So for me, I feel like for any of those of you familiar with like heart openers and yoga, that's kind of the physical representation of awakening for me. Like I'm opening up that heart space to receive. It feels super powerful, super powerful. Amy, you said seeing something different for the first time. Yes, I love that. All right, keep it coming. If you're sharing in regards to what awakening means for you. And a crack in the cosmic egg. Yes, of course, I was thinking of Kat cracking open those cosmic eggs. Roberta, awakening is to me is just like unlocking a new level of understanding for sure. It's like a level up, right? All right, so let's come to the page, and I'm going to offer you some journal prompts. Let me grab a pen over here. And I love this, Audrey. Realization, new perspective. Yes. So here's the first inquiry that I have that let's just get right to the page. Is there a feeling or an experience that you're holding on to right now, present time, that prevents you from fully shining in your most authentic light? So what story are you holding on to right now that's keeping you in that shadow space? Almost like we got concrete boots on. We can't move. So I'm just going to simplify the question to what story? Ooh, I must be resistant. My pen just ran out of ink. JK, I'm not resistant. Here we go. Sometimes pens just run out of ink. Let's see. What story is holding me back in this moment? And let's give ourselves just a minute or two to write from our hearts what story is holding us back. when this story comes up for you, see if you can go just a little bit deeper. Like my story was, I'm too much. Then the too hard came up. And then this is now coming to too serious. Just see if you go a little deeper. All right, finish up wherever you're at. I see that, Amy. And I will never finish my book and not be able to start the other ones I want to write. Yeah. So not being in movement when we believe those stories keeps us in place and it prevents us from doing the other things. I hear that. All right. So our next inquiry is, what do you get to forgive yourself for in this moment? Sometimes we carry this, well, we carry many things. It could be shame. It could be scarcity, lack of confidence, lack of value. We're not going to explore where those originate from. Most of us know. We're not going to go into that. But what I would like for you to think about is, in this moment, when I think of self-forgiveness, I think of, what weight can I take off my shoulders? How can I take sacred care of myself by removing this heaviness? So what heaviness do you get to lift? Where do you get to forgive yourself right now? I'm laughing because this is the third pen that's run out of ink. All right. So clearly this page is necessary for this old girl. Let's move on to a marker. Oh, man. Oh, good. I'm not alone, Krista. This happens to you too. That's wild. That's a lot of pens I just blew through. All right, finish up wherever you're at. What is it that you get to release in this moment? And if you feel called to share, pop it in the chat. Like, if you want to share, if you want to be witnessed, I would be honored to witness you. And if you don't want to share, that's totally fine. I'm gonna well, I get to lead by example. I'm gonna put mine in the chat box. I'm gonna start this party off. I get to release that I hurt others when I take a loving stand for them. Jen, I hear you. Release self-doubt and the fact that I take myself too seriously. Same, sister. Same. Yeah. My next inquiry is, how does the thought of that release, that self-forgiveness, how does that feel for you in this moment? Oh my God, you can't make this shit up. I just went through another one. Hope I could say shit on YouTube. Let's see. Oh. Roberta just used the crayon. I know. I didn't know I was doing such. I mean, this is always big work, but my goodness. Yes, I'd be happy to repeat it, Amy. So, what does it feel like imagining yourself in this place of self forgiveness? What does it feel like to think about releasing whatever that heaviness is? For me, it feels scary because it feels like this huge leap of trust, of trusting myself, trusting spirit, trusting others. Which, if you know me, you know this T word comes up a lot. Trust. Look, Roberta, I'm busting out the crayons now. All right, if there's anything you want to share, please put it in the chat box. If you feel complete with these prompts, put a C in the chat box. So I know my pace. Liz, you said I get to release feeling responsible for others' experiences and feelings. Imagining releasing this responsibility is scary because then oh, Liz, this is big. Who am I if I'm not that person? Oh, that's big. That's good. Who am I if I'm not that person? You just blew my mind. I want you to imagine like that meme where that guy's blowing his universal mind. Wow. Yeah, it's huge. Amy, it's a leap of faith to be confident in yourself. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah. Liz is also using crayons. Yes, clearly there was my inner child knew. My inner child knew I was going to be breaking through some things. She's like, "Go ahead and get the crayons out." Oh my goodness. Yes. Okay. So, let's create an inquiry for our page. And now you can use the one I'm going to use. I always ask you, invite you into listening to yourself, following your heart, what's coming up for you. I'm just going to read in the chat box swiftly. Jen, I see you saying, I feel frustrated and defeated, like I've worked so hard and still have so much healing left to do. Yes, I keep thinking about what my naturopath reminds me of is that we're on a spiral, right? And we heal that one layer and then we come back around and go deeper. And then we come back around and go deeper. Gene Serenity now. Exactly. Oh, I love hanging out with y'all. Amy, also that I know that I can accomplish things when I put my mind to it. That's what I have to, that's what I have, I feel. Yes. Yes. You do have that determination, Amy. Okay, so let's create an inquiry for our page. And here are just some that I'm just riffing off of, like, how do I let go? Maybe the feeling of whatever it is that's weighing heavy on you in this moment. Maybe you can't even imagine what it feels like to release it because you can't imagine releasing it. So maybe an inquiry is, how do I create movement in releasing blah, 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 whatever it is. Maybe there's this piece where you have some feelings around forgiveness. And so maybe an inquiry could be, how do I surrender to forgiveness? Or how do I stay in the flow of forgiveness? Ooh, I think I just found mine. Yeah, I think that's going to be mine. Let's see. So I'm going to write my inquiry across my page. How do I stay in the flow of forgiveness? Oh my goodness. Yes. When you create your inquiry, I'd love if you shared it in the chat. How do I stay in the flow of forgiveness? And I love that. How do I allow joy and laughter into my work? Yes, I love that. And once you've got your inquiry on your page, I invite you to put some prayers or affirmations, whatever feels aligned with you. I'm going to put show me, guide me, soften me, love me, hold me, ooh, this one just came up. I don't think I've ever heard this one come up before. Speak to me. Wow. Okay. I'm open. I'm listening. Speak to me. Jen, how do I lighten up so I can have more fun with my author career and connecting with readers? Yes. Jane, how do I let go and begin to grow roots in my new way of being? Oh, that's beautiful. All right. So once you've got your inquiry down and you've got your prayers or your affirmations, whatever it is that you're opening up to, let's move some color around. And as always, I like my inner knowing to choose my color, which my inner knowing is going for orange. All right. And we're just going to move some color around. Let's move some of this energy around because it's big. We're doing big work here. So we're going to move some of this energy around and keep in mind, what's your inquiry? Oh, wait, what color is this? Oh, it's Mango Tango. Okay, Crayola. Mango Tango. Audrey, how do I release self-doubt and boldly move forward? Oh, I love that. Yes. And you don't have to cover the whole page. I just let my inner knowing tell me when it's enough. And it feels good just to move this energy around. Just let it go. Let it go. All right. My inner knowing said purple. Purple. I thought to myself, man, this is messy. I'm normally not this, I'm normally messy, but this is messy for me. And my inner knowing was like, girl, healing is messy. Leave it to my inner knowing to keep it real. Healing is messy. Ooh, Amy, you've got copper pens. That sounds awesome. This is absolutely a wild, hot mess. All right, I'm going to embrace it. I'm going to embrace it. I'm going to trust. Wasn't that the word right here that came up? All right. Feel complete with your color movement, pop it in the chat box. Wow. Wild hot mess sage at your service. Oh, I love that. Learning to breathe with a yogi now. Yes. All right, so remember what your inquiry is. You can write it down on the side. Also, feel free to take photos of your page in process. That's something fun that I like to do, is as I'm in different steps, I like to take pictures and I like to watch the transformation of the page. All right, when you feel complete with the color movement, pop a C in the chat. And there's a lot of OGs in here. If I'm moving faster than you, no worries. You know the step you're in. Trust yourself. All right, let's crack this page open. Let's crack it open. So I'm inviting you to draw a crack. Let's crack this baby open. So I'm going to do something like this. I'm just cracking my page open. Oh my gosh. Now you're getting real authentic Sage here. I was going to say your crack may not look like my crack. Oh, there's a teenager trapped inside of me. Okay, we're just cracking it open. All right, and then I'm going to go around because I really want this crack to pop. So I'm just going to take my color and I'm going to color around the outline of the crack. You do what you feel called to do, but I really want this to pop because I'm cracking open this piece around forgiveness because I know there's something there for me. There's something there for me around my next level of growth, my next up level as a human being. And so I'm cracking open, how do I stay in this flow of forgiveness, not in a self-beat up way, in a very loving, curious heart. How do I explore this? So you're cracking open whatever that inquiry is that you're exploring. Let's crack that baby open. Yeah, San Andreas fault line. I see that. We're popping this open. I hear you, Anne. All right, so for those of you moving into this step, I'm inviting you to crack open your page with a literal crack. And it could be anything. You could be cracking open an egg. You could be cracking open some kind of vessel. I'm just cracking this page wide open. I am cracking this bad boy open. And I'm getting curious. Oh, how I miss crayons. They're so classic. And I'm also being curious about that. What was my inner knowing drawn to? Crayons. What do crayons remind me? Being a kid. Being a kid. So now I'm just going to be curious about these pieces. The self-forgiveness piece. Being a kid. How does that connect? Oh, I can see many ways that can connect to forgiveness. I'm just looking at my page. It almost looks like a hand. Like reaching out. Okay. Now my next step, if you want to join me, is I want to really bring this crack, because to me this is the authenticity. This is the authentic sage trying to bust through, right? I'm trying to move through, and so I really want to bring that light out, because this is our bright light within the cracks. And so I'm going to take a little watercolor. Let's see what happens when I add. Here we go. I knew I had a pen brush here. All right. And these are really light. I need a brighter light. Liz, if you're still here, I just busted out your watercolors, because your colors pop. And that's what I'm looking for, a pop. Look at that beautiful yellow. All right, I feel so inappropriate asking this, but bear with me. Bear with the teenager trapped inside of me. How is your crack looking? How is your crack looking? How does it feel? Is it big? Is there lots of light trying to come through? What's cracking open on your page? Pop it in the chat box. I feel like I'm going to win an award for an inappropriate YouTube. Hey, our intention is right on. All right. Yeah, get curious about it. What's coming up for you when you see it? I'm going to take a moment to pause and just stare at mine for a hot minute. and share what's coming up for you in the chat. I always get curious about the words that show through too. Like I see love me. Okay, while this dries, I'm going to move into going through some magazines, and I'm going to keep my intention of what images, what words are going to support me in staying in this flow of forgiveness. So throughout this entire process, I'm staying connected to my inquiry. Liz, he said, so I used water-soluble crayons and was struggling to get the light to show because it would be blended and buried by the undercolors with each application. And each pass, the light became stronger and more visible, representing it gets to be messy and take many attempts and trials, and that's okay. It's part of the process. Oh my goodness. I love that. Wow. What a reflection that was. Amy, you said my crack has been splitting since I started the Empowered Project. Yes. Yes, it has. And you said a big, long, snaky black line. I activated the background with water. Want to add some gold acrylic light when it dries. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. I found this cool image. It's this woman, and there's all these different doors open, and she's got this magnifying glass like she's being curious. There's a picture of her reading. So I'm just like, it definitely wants to go on the page. All right. Definitely wants to come on here. And with any intentional creativity process, all about that place of listening and trusting, even when it doesn't quite make sense. So it's interesting to have all these open doors outside of this crack. Huh. I love this process. I love how you just never know what's going to pop up on the page. Who knew I'd have tiny little open doors all over my page? Not me. Not me. Yeah, I really love your share, Liz. It's this great collecting of evidence of how powerful it is to be present to this process and notice what's going on, and then how is it relevant to the inquiry. Wow, I'm just amazed by all these open doors. Don't mind me oohing and awing. If you're getting any instant messages from your page, I'd love for you to share it in the chat. Looking like a cool cave is emerging. My hermit abode, yes. I love it. Okay, I'm going to glue all these doors on here. Apparently there needs to be 18 doors on my page. Well, at least the doors are open. They're not shut. That to me screams opportunity and possibility. Ooh, I love you've got that expansion theme happening, Amy. It's exactly where we're at in the Empowered Project right now, talking about expansion. I love that. Oh, and if you hear me reference the Empowered Project, some of the beautiful women in my 6-month program are here, and that's what they're referring to. Let's see. Oh, and I always make sure I got some kind of something that's crossing over that center line of the page. Ooh, I bet that's really cool, Amy, using old Sky and Telescope magazines. Oh, man. Love that. Oh, I love that, Audrey. I found the words open up to new possibilities. Yes. Yes. Because weren't you talking about putting yourself out there, opening up and putting yourself out into the world? Yes. All right. Their paint wants to come. Let's see. No, Audrey, you can never make this stuff up. And I love, especially if I ever question myself or question something that is coming up, it never fails that there's another symbol or word that will show up and be like, hey, trust yourself. Trust yourself. So we've got about 5 minutes left together. Of course, I'll be working on my page after, and I'll share it in my Facebook group, Storytellers and Wild Creatives. And I would absolutely love if you shared your page. Because while I love doing this YouTube, I don't get to see you or your pages. So that would just make my day if you came in there and shared your pages. I would love that. But I would also love if you put in the chat box, like, what came through for you today? Was there a golden nugget that kind of cracked open for you today? Because our intention was to crack open. And so I'm curious, what cracked open for you in this process? And I totally get if it's still coming through, because this is a process. But what do you know in this moment? Oh, you're so welcome, Justine. I'll see you later. I'll see you on Friday, actually. I think for me, I mean, I'm still being curious about this page. I haven't gotten a page like this before where it was just like, yep, your page is going to be open doors. But it is me getting curious about being open, staying open. I mean, she's got a magnifying glass. She's curious. And it reminds me how forgiveness is a process. It's not something you just do and then it's done. Just like everything else in life is a process. Genji, you said my golden nugget to connect back to the things I love, tarot especially, to help me remember who I am and what I have to offer others. Yes, I love that. I love that piece about staying true to you and staying connected about the things that remind you who you are and what you have to offer in this world. That's beautiful, my friend. Amy, you said self-doubt is not my friend. No, self-doubt does not get to come play with us. Definitely not. What else? Who else has a golden nugget they'd like to share? You know what else is coming through for me? You don't. That's why I'm going to share it. Is that I'm further along on my path than I give myself credit for. And that feels really potent. I am further along than I give myself credit for. I like that. Jean, you said allowing answers to come in their own time and their own way. Yes. That's like that surrender piece for me where it's like, okay, I cannot control this. I get to surrender, stay open, and be in a trusting place, which is always easier, but with practice. With practice. Audrey, you said, I think mine is pretty clear. Open up. Girl, I think you and I got this similar message with this openness. I also just found no to settling, yes to more. I love that. Everything but a mallet to hit me to hit me over the head. Isn't that right? Oh my gosh. Sometimes when I go through my Cosmic Smash books, I see the repetition of the messages. Clearly, I need spirit to tell me over and over and over again. That is so good. All right. Does anybody else want to pop in here and share what their golden nugget is? My fear is always I'm gonna like end the live and then somebody's typing. So if you're complete, let me know in the chat, or complete enough. I'm still not complete, but I'm still working on this. I'm going to be with this for a little bit. You're so welcome, Audrey. I'm so grateful you came today. And if you're not in my Facebook group, Storytellers and Wild Creatives, and you want to be, the link is in the description. Again, I would love for you to share your page and come in and let us witness you and any ahas that come through. Please do. I feel like my page is going to be one of those that it wants to be with me. Thank you, Jen. I love our monthly intention setting too. So my intention is to do this the first Wednesday of every month. And I believe that March 6th is the next one. But if you're on my mailing list, I'll, of course, send it out in an email, post it in our Facebook group, post it on Instagram. try to get it out in all the places. Jane, you said, not sure if anyone else is feeling this, but I'm getting a huge sensation in my arms and heart, feeling lighter with dropping my burden. Oh, that is so beautiful. You know, honestly, Jane, and I don't know why I say honestly, because I'm always honest with you all. I too felt this lightness of releasing. And that is just such a beautiful thing. Such a beautiful thing. So thank you for sharing that. Annie said, I just opened an astronomy magazine and the page says, from tiny seeds grow my mighty stars. Oh, that is so good. Yes. And this, you know, I talk a lot about planting seeds. Like things take time, things take nurturing, and things have their own process. And sometimes I think us as humans can be impatient, right? Like, oh, it's not working because I'm not seeing the results immediately. And so for me, I'm always reminding myself I'm planting seeds, and they get to grow and be nurtured. And that's kind of this vibe I'm getting here too of all like, these are all of my seeds. These are all of the things like, yeah. So thank you so much. I am so grateful to have this space with you, to create this time together and to get curious in a super fun, loving way. And yeah, I will see you soon. Reach out anytime to connect. I always love hearing from you. And take good care of yourself because we stirred some big energy around. So my invitation is to do something just for you today. Okay? I love you, and I'll see you next time, my friends.